Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ben Rasmussen. I am the Director of Law and Professional Practices for the State Board of Education. And one of my responsibilities for the board is that I am the commissioner for the Interstate Compact for Educational Opportunity for Military Children. So part of that is that I get to be over our State Council for Military Children, and I get to help roll out this new program for Purple Star schools. I'm interested to know how many of you, by raise of hand, you can use the reaction button. How many of you have heard of the Purple Star Schools program before we rolled it out here for Utah in the last couple of months? Looks like we've had maybe one. So this is definitely a new program for Utah. With it's been rolled out, from what I understand, in about a dozen other states so far, and it's been a good program to help military schools transition and just become oriented to where the best schools are in the state and where they can have support in the state. So we're really excited to get it underway. As far as today's webinar, I just want this to be kind of a casual discussion of what the requirements are. This is a new program for us here in Utah, and so we're kind of learning as we go and trying to get a sense of how people are interpreting the rules as we see applications come in. And so we just wanted to chat about that, see if you have questions about the particular requirements. If any of you have suggestions to throw out as we discuss the particular requirements, I certainly welcome you to do that. Feel free to put your questions in the chat, or just to jump in when I take a breather and just ask a question. We just want to make sure that everybody knows what's expected, and so that they can submit applications. We have set a tentative application deadline, but for March 24th. We'd like to make the first presentations of our Purple Star School Award in April to support the month of the military child. That application deadline it's somewhat fluid, though. If you need an extra day or two, feel free to shoot me an email, let me know. If you're having trouble with a particular requirement, that kind of thing. We're not trying to make this so difficult that people will be discouraged from applying. We want this to be a process that's definitely a process that's doable. So, and the other thing, just so you're aware, is I have clicked the record button just so that we can post this webinar on the internet if it would be helpful to people. We'll put it on our Purple Star School webpage, and then people will be able to take a look at it. And if for some reason they weren't able to make the time that we scheduled today. So thank you all for being here. I want to particularly also introduce Leslie Flynn. Leslie, if you'd turn on your camera and say hi. Leslie is our school liaison officer at Hill, and she's definitely a great resource as well as you're doing your applications.
Yes, happy to assist. I'm glad to be here at Hill. I've been a school liaison now for 7 years. Familiar with the program. We're just getting started here in Utah. It's rolling out across the country, and welcome your questions. Please feel free to contact me.
Okay, thank you, Leslie. So what I'm planning to do is just to kind of go through, we've created our program through an administrative rule here in Utah, and it has set forth specific requirements that are all in our application. And so I just want to kind of go through those requirements one by one, just talk about them briefly and see what questions you have. Like I say, this should be pretty informal. So we'll just go from there. First requirement we have is that each school that is designated as a Purple Star school is going to have a point of contact. So the point of contact should be someone that's familiar with the program, that's familiar with the students and familiar with their registration needs, those kind of things, who can take steps to help students through this. One of the important things that we're hoping that this point of contact will have is this point of contact should be very familiar with the interstate compact for military students. How many of you are with us by show of hand, or you can answer in the chat? How many of you are familiar with MIC3, the compact for military students? I'm drawing a blank. That's not a good answer. So we've got one that's heard of it, looks like, maybe. Another one, Leslie, of course, has got her thumbs up as the slow. So that's one thing that we want the schools that are involved in the Purple Star program, they should be aware of the Interstate Compact on Military Children. Each of the 50 states in the District of Columbia have, they've each entered into an agreement that provides certain protections to students as they get transferred from base to base. Leslie's just stuck her email in there so you can ask questions about this. I'm going to put up on the screen a website that shows Utah's contact information for the state council. Probably should add Leslie to that as our slow, but basically there's different rights that military students have when they come to the state. They have rights they have credits transferred, they have rights to be placed in certain programs and to have just be protected so that everything flows as seamlessly and as smoothly as possible. So first, the primary responsibility then for this point of contact is to be familiar with the compact, be familiar with the protections that are available to military students, and then be able to share that information with the staffs at the schools, train the staffs at the schools, and also to be a contact when parents have questions. One thing that I've in looking at how these programs have fared in other states, it's quite appropriate that the contact that's designated should be someone that's available year round. So there should be a contact that's available during the summer, even if they're not working full time over summer break. There should be someone they can contact. And as we get into the website information, their contact information should be on the website that we're going to require. So from there, do we have any particular questions about the point of contact, who that should be, what that should look like before we go any further? Okay, hearing none, I guess we can go ahead and move on to the next slot. Let's see, I've got someone else to admit here. So the next requirement that we have is professional development. And this is something that I hope that we're gonna be working on an ongoing basis through the state office and with our community resources, because this is something that I think we'll want to work on to improve this continually as we have this program going. So professional development it's intended that all the teachers at the school, all the administration at the school, not just the point of contact, have some familiarity with what protections are available, what the needs are for our military students. And so there are on the MIC3 webpage, there are short video clips you can access that give introductions to the different parts of the compact that vary in length depending on how much information you want to provide. And I hope to provide a webinar at some point that is specific for our schools here in Utah that goes over that. It's a matter of getting it produced. I don't find myself the most interesting person to do that, but I may end up working on a webinar to prepare that so that we have a resource you can use for that. But as far as professional development, we hope to see a plan where you'll be training the teachers in your school, and so that everyone has some sense of what's expected and what's needed as far as professional development, and is familiar with these students' needs and their rights as they transfer into the state and transfer out of the state. Any questions about the professional development? You're a rowdy bunch today. I think you're celebrating National Napping Day a little too early so far. Uh, but hopefully we're not putting you to sleep. The next requirement is we do expect you to have a website. We've had a couple of applications come in where they've basically told us plans for their website. We do expect that you have a website in place when you submit the application. We're not expecting an elaborate or a super detailed website, but we do want a website that has some resources available for military students. A couple of the resources that I would definitely emphasize should be on that website would be a link to the MIC3 page that I showed you here just a second ago. I'll pull that up again. This is mic3.net. This is a great resource for parents that are moving on military orders. And so that's one that I would definitely encourage you to list as a resource. Again, one of the big purposes of this program is to help strengthen people's understanding of the requirements of this compact, which is a law. The other resource that I would see, did I pull this one up already? Let me pull up this. There's another resource that I would encourage you to put up here. And I'm just going to open it up real quick. It's MCEC. This is the Military Child Education Coalition. This is a group that's dedicated to providing resources and transitions for military families. This is another website that I would encourage you to have on your school websites as you support military children. But other things that we expect to see on the website are contacts for military families for your point of contact, different things like information about scheduling, calendar of events that would be relevant as far as deadlines for scheduling, deadlines to enter, to be considered for whatever programs or teams or organizations. And we hope to have this all in a centralized place. So we want information all in one place so that when military families look, they can, even if it's just a link to another place on your website, we hope to have this all centralized, easy to use, common sense for them to navigate. I've seen a couple of web pages so far that have a lot of good links on them. And so you can certainly put as many links to good groups as you'd like. I think another one you could probably highlight is the 4-H program. I know has been doing some good things and trying to promote some great things for the month of the military child. I'm going to be putting up a link to some of their suggestions on our state Purple Star School webpage here soon. But I know there's a lot of groups, not to single out one or anything like that, but there are a lot of groups definitely that have information on there that would be worth sharing with military families as they're making decisions. Leslie, I'll call on you. Do you know of any organizations or things that you would think would be great to have on those websites as they're putting them together?
Blue Star Families, Wounded.
You cut off there. Was that Wounded Warriors you were saying?
I'm sorry, sir?
You cut off there for a second. Were you saying Wounded Warriors?
Wounded Warriors, Blue Star Families. Everyone is welcome to put my office phone number. You can just say Hill Air Force Base School Liaison. And with my office phone number, I work year round. So I'm one of those people that's on duty even in the summer months. So.
Great. Thank you, Leslie. Sorry to call you on the spot there. But so we just, like I said, we just want this to be a central resource, something that's an all-in-one place, one-stop shop for people as they're trying to make decisions on where to enroll as they move into the state. So the Student-Led Transition program is probably one of the most important and one of the trickiest things there. We've got a hand, Mr. Campbell.
Yeah, sorry for the delay on my question. Hey, Ben, did you say that it's preferred that we have all these links on our website, or you at the state will be the single place resource and have one link to our schools so that they're all the same?
No, we want each school to have a one-stop shop with resources that they think are appropriate. And you don't necessarily have to have all these things that we've listed, but you should have a website. Part of your school's webpage is what we anticipate that will have all this information in one place for your families, because they're going to know to go to your school webpage. They may not know to go to our webpage. And Leslie, there's a message for you in the chat there. I'll let you follow that up on that with Mr. Kinghorn. But and I don't know if I can't remember if they're on here and willing to share. I know we did get an application, I'll just add, from Hillfield Elementary. They had a lot of great resources on their webpage. If they'd be willing to share, I think that would be helpful for other schools too, to see what they've put together, because they had a lot of great resources already on their site that they submitted.
Yeah, this is Doug Forsker, and I'm the principal there, and we are always happy to help out. But I can't take credit because we work pretty closely with Leslie, and she provided us with a lot of those resources.
Good, sounds good. Well, and so Leslie then too should be able to help you out there. Ammon, do you have another question? Or is your hand still up from last time? Hands down now. Okay. So the next program, the Student-Led Transition program, is one that we're hoping to have a situation where when students come into your school, not only do they have the counselors ready and willing to help them be integrated, but that they have student mentors who can work with them, help them, show them around the school, help them get to know people, that kind of thing. I know that, Doug, can you tell us the name of the program that you guys have put together there at Hillfield? You looked like you had a program that you already had implemented that looks pretty good.
Yeah, well, and again, thank you. You're being very generous. It's Anchored for Life. That's actually sponsored by the military itself, that because of the number of students that we service, that was brought to us as a proposal. And so, yeah, it's Anchored with the number 4 Life. It's pretty awesome program. I mean, it is directly there for for transition program, for moving in, moving out, divorce, deployment, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty absolutely amazing. I know that there's an expense that comes from it if you're self-funding it. And so that may be something people want to be aware of. However, I know in Davis School District, and I'm sure other school districts use it, I think your junior Hope Squads could be used as a really good transition program for students. That student-led type program that I think if you didn't have the funding for Anchored for Life, you could put it together through a junior Hope Squad.
Thank you. So the other thing that I'd kind of probably would show you, I'm going to pull it up here on the screen here, is this study. This is available on the MCEC website, and this has resources, quite frankly, with all of the areas that we're talking to. But I think it has good information specifically on the student transition program. This is a study that the MCEC program did about what other states are doing with each of the required elements, and they have a few pages that that kind of go through what's expected for each thing. They can tell you what are the best practices, what they found work in what they found have worked in other schools. This is a link that I'm going to put up on our Purple Star Schools website for the state. I haven't got that up there as of today, but we should have shortly. But I'll also put this link here in the chat, because this is one that will help you with each of the elements to see what's expected. It's something that I've been kind of consulting as I try and determine what to look for and what to recommend that schools work on from the applications that we've seen. Let me see if I can pull it down just to kind of give you a sense. They have a section on each one. They kind of talk about the benefits, and they talk about challenges, and they have recommendations for what your programs can look like. So like I say, I just put that link in the chat. We're going to put that on our Purple Star Schools webpage for the state here shortly. And I would encourage that as you're working on your applications, this is this is something I would encourage you to read through and kind of get a sense for what's expected. I think this will help you on the student transition programs for some other ideas that might be able to help you, especially if if funding's not possible for something like an Anchored for Life program like Leslie and Doug talked about. This can give you some other ideas as to what you can put together. Let's see, where's this? Any questions about the student-led transition program and what to look for there? Okay, so those first few things are what we call the mandatory elements. You've got to have the professional development, some kind of program in place. You've got to have a website ready, and you've got to have a student-led transition program, the plans in place for that. You've got to have the point of contact. Then we require one of three other options that you can pick one or you can pick all of them. We encourage you to do one or many, quite frankly, in this circumstance. But so you're going to be asked to have some sort of a school-wide military recognition event, a resolution publicizing support for military families from your LEA. So this can be done by the governing board of your charter school or your district. Or we look for opportunities for active duty parents to volunteer at your school. Specifically, we encourage you to work with Leslie as the SLO to kind of integrate parents into your school as far for volunteer purposes. The pamphlet I just showed you had a lot of interesting information on the school-wide military recognition event. We are looking for something that really highlights, is specific to military students and highlights them without probably putting too much pressure on them. I know in the pamphlet it talks about there are some times where you might want to do up a big to-do, but that might be something that would make some families uncomfortable. And so they tell you to look for a good balance. A good time, I think, to really focus on that military recognition event is in April, which is the month of the military child. There's a lot of opportunities to do things that you can bring focus to military families and bring focus to them without putting too much pressure or drawing unnecessary attention to some that might be shyer or might be a little more reluctant to participate. Let's see, do I have that pulled up? So one thing I'm going to draw to your attention, and I'll pull this up here. This is from our friends with the 4-H partnership. They've got a lot of ideas for things that you can do during the month of the military child to support individuals, things that you can do on social media, and just different things that you can do throughout the school that will help to recognize the contributions that our military families make. I think organizing and putting some of these together would be an excellent way to meet the requirement for the military recognition event at your school. The resolution, I think, is probably one of the more straightforward ways to meet this requirement. It's just a matter of putting together a resolution and stating the reasons why you support the military and having your governing board pass that. That certainly meets that requirement. And again, I would say we would encourage you to do one or more of these as you're putting together the additional options. And then just opportunities for parents to volunteer. Leslie, do you have anything you'd add as far as the volunteer opportunities as to things they might look at setting up for parents?
Well, one aspect of my job is to coordinate partnership and education events. So I do bring airmen out to speak at career days at school. We can do a call maybe for your younger elementary students. That's always a popular one. It runs the gamut. I've done canine demonstrations. You know, please feel free to reach out to me. I've brought airmen into classrooms to read. So
yeah, there's a lot of cool things you can do, and we appreciate Leslie being a great resource for that. Feel free to touch base with her as you're putting together your application to get some ideas of what you might do there. So those are the essential requirements. We've gone through them. What questions do you have? You've been pretty quiet, but now's a great chance to ask questions. Let's see. I think my chat is blinking. So I've got the question: can we submit applications in advance and get feedback if needed? You bet. So the sooner you send applications, I'll look through them. I'm going to start looking through them this week, quite frankly, and start kind of comparing and seeing where the strengths are and where the weaknesses are. And I'll certainly, if there's something that we think needs to be improved on, I'll certainly get in touch with you and say this is what we think you might work on. So yeah, definitely submit your applications in advance. We'll be happy to help get you feedback. So Mr. Campbell's asking about what we'll do as far as presentations and that. So that's something that we're looking to figure out. We'd like to, you know, a lot of states do a big to-do with these where they'll present the award. We would like to do something in that vein. Exactly what we can do given the health requirements is something we'll have to figure out. But we do have plans to send someone to your school. I know that we are working with the good folks at the Department of Veterans and Military Affairs. They are hoping to get the governor involved in making some of these presentations. If not the governor, perhaps the state superintendent would be involved in this as well too, I hope. But we definitely want to make a big deal of this because we think this is a big deal. So Amber asked that we explain a little bit about this resolution publicizing support for the military and what would that look like. You have a lot of flexibility, I think, there. Really, it's talking about what your school is doing for military students, why you're doing that, why you think the military families in your school are making a special contribution. You know, I think that the requirement about publicizing support for military families really is going to be something that invites creativity on your part. So that would be my thought there. That's really a flexible question. Got a question: do we submit one application per campus or per the district? So each charter school and each district school should submit their own application. We would look at those all individually. If you're in a big district like Davis, one of the things that you could do is work with Superintendent Newey to get a resolution from the district board that you could use for all of your schools in addition to your other steps. But we would be expecting a separate application from each school that would like the designation. So I have a question. If you haven't started yet, will we have enough time to get everything done for the application this year? So if you're just joining us, one of the things that I say at the very start is we'll be kind of flexible on that March 24th application deadline. And some of these, I think you can show us what you're looking to do and kind of work out the components and kind of show us what you're going to do. And then you can kind of start to implement those as time progresses. We'll have to take a look and see the strength of what you're able to put together. If you're just starting and trying to meet a deadline in 10 days, I know that may not be easy, but like I say, I'm here as a resource. I think Leslie's available as a resource, and if we'll be able to help you on ideas for anything that you think is appropriate. Let's see. So the Student-Led Transition program, I've got a question to go over that again. And so essentially what that is that we're hoping that you'll have a team basically that can work with military families and especially the students as they come to your school. Not only will this be counselors who are or contact who is familiar with the military family situations and know how to get students placed in the right places, but we hope that it will be student-led and that there will be student mentors, kids their own age who can kind of take the new military students under your wings and kind of help them get to know the lay of the land, take them around the school, show them where things are at, show them, help them get to their classes, help them to make friends, those kinds of things, just so that they can really start to be integrated. It's just like they're being yanked out of their old school in the middle of the year sometimes. And so we just want a resource that they can connect with and a program to support that. Leslie, do you have
Ben,
anything
would it,
on that one?
sorry, Ben, would it be beneficial? This is Doug again. I apologize.
Oh,
Would it be
please.
beneficial for me to maybe kind of list some of the different parts that come in for Anchored for Life to give other ideas on that one?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Please do.
Okay, so Anchored for Life, again, sponsored by the military. But we have essentially the way it's set up is we have, and you can have different numbers depending on how big your school or how small your school is. We have about 8 Anchored for Life team leaders who are trained and taught how to introduce themselves to new students, how to give tours of the school, to be visible for that. Every classroom in my school is asked to have crew members, which is essentially just two students that can be rotating throughout the year or whatever, to be good resources for new students as they come in. Our Anchored for Life team members, they also they help with morning announcements. They provide a quote for the week. They provide an opportunity for a service project throughout the year. They also go, when students are moving away, they meet with them and they give a little something. Anchored for Life provides it, but any school could provide, a t-shirt or something to just help remember them, to help, a notebook to write in about their move and their feelings on those type of things. So it's really, they also provide like little activities that can be targeted to the needs of a classroom or something, or of certain students. So you can get really creative, but pretty much, a transition program is just anything to help them, like you said, take them under their wing and make sure that they're not just that they're not the new kid on the block for long, that they really kind of adapt well and quickly.
Thank you. That's great. We have a question about identifying students from military families. Leslie kind of responded to that in the chat. Lisa, does that help you answer that, or do you still have questions on that? Okay, she says she'll follow up with Leslie. That's great. Yeah, there's definitely, that's something, there's a couple ways you can do that. So that's basically what I had. Like I say, feel free to send me a draft of what you're looking to do if that would help. We will try and get a few more resources up on our webpage that you can use to put your applications together. Robert asked, does this support active and retired military? So the compact supports all active duty families as they're transferred. It supports military families if there's a retirement in the first year after they retire, if they move after they're retired, I believe is how that fits. So definitely it supports active duty in Utah. Not all the states have caught on to this, but just something we definitely need to support in Utah is we have a large group of National Guard families. And so Utah has extended our compact protections to anybody that's moving through the National Guard. We've got a big contingent of National Guard families. So in Utah, we cover both. And Leslie says there in the chat that they support both active duty and retirees for the work that she does too. So that's important to know too. Okay, we have Lisa says she's excited that Utah is one of the early states joining this effort. I definitely am excited to be part of this too. I know that I get to work with some of the commissioners from other states, and I know pretty well the commissioners from Ohio and Tennessee, and I know they've both implemented this extensively and are loving the results that they've got. And I know that quite frankly, a lot of the states that have implemented this are seeing great results. This really helps military families as they're choosing where to move, where to put their kids when they transfer to Utah. And it's just really an exciting resource. We've put together our own logo for the program, and that's something that you'll be able to use if you're designated. You'll be able to use that on your website, on letterhead, whatever promotional materials you're using. You can you can promote yourself as a Purple Star school. And we really want that to be something that Utah schools are proud of. So we really look forward to getting your applications. And if there are any other questions, we'll just thank you for joining us today. And like I said, I have recorded this, so I'll try and get this recording posted on the website too. If there's anyone from your district or any of your schools nearby that want to hear this in the future, they can take a listen to it. And hopefully I won't be too much to listen to for half an hour for them. But anyway, that's our what we have for you today. And so I do have a question there. What's the actual legal compact? And I can show you here on the website where you can find that. Let's see, I just had it up. So if you go to mic3.net/state/Utah, you'll find all the Utah information for that. That you can link to on your website. You'll see the resources here down here. This gives you our state law, the Utah Education Codification Bill, and then it gives you our administrative rule that tells you how our state council works, and also has the requirements for the Purple Star schools in it. So that's on the MIC3 website. Okay, I think that's all I have. So thank you for joining us. We'll let you get back to your busy days. Let's see, where's my recording here?